Good morning, students. Today, in this video, we are going to continue with the text of Act 2, Scene 2 of The Merchant of Venice. And the lines that we are going to do are 151 till 195. So, let's see the objectives first. By the end of this video, you will be able to understand the explanation of lines 151 till 195 of Act 2, Scene 2 of The Merchant of Venice. And you will also be able to understand the references and literary devices used in the lines 151 till 195. So students, so far we have done that Bassanio wants to leave the service of Shylock and wants to join the service of Bassanio. And then Lancelot requests Bassanio for that. And Bassanio agrees to his request and also gives him a more braided uniform. Lancelot at the end bids goodbye to his old master Shylock. Now let's read the next. Students, everyone open your textbooks of The Merchant of Venice and let's read Bassanio. I pray thee, good Leonardo, think on this, these things being bought and orderly bestowed. Return in haste, for I do feast tonight. My best esteemed acquaintance, hie thee go. Students, note down the meanings. On means over. Orderly bestowed means carefully placed on board the ship. Hie means make haste. Students, Bassanio had asked Leonardo earlier to do something and now he is telling him to think about it and order and to buy those things and pack them properly and further request him to come back quickly as he is having dinner with his intimate friend. Now students, who is the intimate friend of Bassanio? Yes, the intimate friend of Bassanio is Antonio. Let's read the gist. Bassanio requests Leonardo to pack all the things and to be ready. He orders him to be back there soon as he is having dinner tonight with someone to whom he greatly respects. Next, Leonardo, my best endeavors shall be done herein. They part and walk away in opposite directions. Leonardo meets Gratiano. Gratiano, where is your master? Students, here Leonardo says that he will do his best. And then they both walk away in opposite directions. Next, Gratiano enters the scene and asks Leonardo where is his master. Now children, who is the master of Leonardo? The master of Leonardo is Bassanio. Next, Leonardo says, yonder, sir, he walks. Gratiano, Signor Bassanio. And Bassanio says, Gratiano. Now students, here, Leonardo points towards the direction where his master is walking. Then Gratiano to his reply calls his master Signor Bassanio. And Bassanio exclaims Gratiano. Let's read the gist. Leonardo replies that he will do his best and then they both, Bassanio and Leonardo, go in opposite directions. Gratiano asks Leonardo about whereabouts of Bassanio, his master. Leonardo points out in the other direction and replies that he is there. Gratiano goes to that direction and greets Bassanio. Let's read the next. Gratiano, I have a suit to you. Bassanio, you have obtained it. Gratiano, you must not deny me. I must go with you to Belmont. Students, here suit means request. Gratiano says Bassanio that he has a favor to ask from him. Without listening to his favor, Bassanio says that his request is always granted. Then Gratiano requests Bassanio not to refuse him. He says that he wants to come with him to Belmont. Let's read the gist. Here Gratiano tells Bassanio that he has a favor to ask. Bassanio replies that he has granted his request before he makes it. Gratiano requests Bassanio not to refuse him. He further says that he wants to go with him to Belmont. Let's read the next. Bassanio. Why then you must, but hear thee, Gratiano. Thou art too wild, too rude, and bold of voice. Paths that become thee happily enough, and in such eyes as ours appear not false. But where thou art not known, why, there they show something too liberal. Pray thee, take pain to allay with some cold drops of modesty thy skipping spirit, lest through thy wild behavior I be misconstrued in the place I go to and lose my hopes. Students, kindly note down the meanings. Liberal means bold or free. Allay means temper, moderate. Skipping, lively, fully. Now students, here Bassanio agrees to his request and says that Gratiano can accompany him but on a condition. He says to Gratiano that he is uncontrollable, rough and blunt. He says such things are tolerated here and with their friends. They are not considered as false, but where he is not known, they appear as false. Then Bassanio tells Gratiano to control his wild spirits by putting up a modest temper, otherwise his wild behavior may be misunderstood in the place where he is going and it could shatter his hopes. Let's read the gist of these lines. Bassanio tells Gratiano that if he has to go, he has to listen to him. He tells Gratiano that sometimes he gets a bit too wild and he lets his voice get a bit loud and rude. Bassanio tells Gratiano that these things look good on him and to people who like him. But in the places where people don't know him, his behavior might seem too wild. He requests him to try to act a little more serious, or the people in Belmont will get the wrong impression about him and his wildness will make him blow his chance with Portia. Let's read next. Gratiano. Signor Bassanio, hear me. If I do not put on a sober habit, talk with respect and swear, but now and then wear prayer books in my pocket, look demurely. Students, note down the meanings. Sober habit means serious manners, and the second is decent clothes. With respect means headfully. Here but means only. Demurely means gravely or serious. Next, nay, more. While graces sing, hood mine eyes, thus with my hat and sigh and say Amen. Use all the observance of civility, like one well studied in a sad ostent to please his grandam, never trust me more. Students, note down the meanings. Hood means cover. Amen means may it be so. The observance of civility means the manners of polite society. Studied means practiced. Sad ostent means serious behavior or solemn appearance. Grandam means grandmother. Students, here Gratiano says that there is nothing to worry about. He will be solemn looking. He will talk with respect. He tells Bassanio not to trust him again if he does not behave modestly. Talk with politeness, swear rarely, carry a prayer book in his pocket and look modest in his outlook. Now, while the prayer before a meal is said, he will close his eyes by placing his hat before and say Amen in front of the people. He says that he will use all the manners of a civilized society, observing all the manners like the one who has learnt to put an appearance to please his grandmother. At the end, he says that if he does not follow these things, then he should not trust him again. Let's read the gist. Bresciano tells Bassanio that there is nothing to worry about. He will be solemn looking, he will talk with respect, and he will only swear once in a while. He will also carry a prayer book in his pocket and look sweet. He says that while the prayer of thanks before a meal is being said, he will not close his eyes by placing his hat in front of them. Rather, he will say Amen, using all the manners of polite society. He will watch his manners as if one who has carefully studied to adopt a show of quietness to please his grandmother. He also tells him that if he does not do all this, then not to trust him again. Let's read further. Bassanio. Well, we shall see your bearing. Bresciano. Nay, but I bar tonight. You shall not gauge me by what we do tonight. Students, note down the meanings. Bearing means behavior. Bar means make an exception. And gauge means judge. Students, here Bassanio says that he will watch his behavior. Bresciano says that tonight does not count. He should be excused tonight. Let's read the gist. Bassanio says that he will see his behavior. Bresciano agrees to his request and asks him to give him exemption that night and tells Bassanio to not judge his conduct that night. Next, Bassanio. No, that were pity. I would entreat you rather to put on your boldest suit of mirth, for we have friends that purpose merriment. But fear you will, I have some business. Bresciano, and I must too, Lorenzo, and the rest, but we will visit you at supper time. Students, kindly note down the meanings. Were here means would be, entreat means request, your boldest suit of mirth means party dress, and most mirthful mood. Purpose means intent to have. Students, here Bassanio says that he is not going to judge him for his behavior during the feast. Rather, he requests him to be in his happiest mood in order to entertain his friends. After that, he bids him goodbye and says he is busy with some other business. Now, Bresciano says he must join Lorenzo and the others and further says that they will meet at supper time. Let's read the gist. Bassanio says that he would not judge Bresciano's behavior that night. Rather, he will be happy, see him having fun because they have friends coming who want to have fun during dinner party. Bassanio bids him goodbye as he has got some business to take care of. Bresciano says that he has to join Lorenzo and the others, but they will visit Bassanio at supper time. So students, this brings us to the end of today's video. I hope you all have understood Act 2, Scene 2. Now, you have to do the homework that is given in your SNAP homework. Thank you.